I wanted to invite you to come on a brief moment of time travel with me. And if you'd really humor me, I'd like you to join me all the way back in 2007, before MAU was even around. 2007 matters because it kicked off the journey that brings us all here. So in 2007, you might have gotten your first smartphone. And if you did, you might remember that while having a smartphone was extremely convenient, browsing was clunky, the app stores were new, and attention was sporadic because 2G loading speeds. And so as the app stores matured, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, they all saw explosive growth and started to really dominate user attention. As these algorithms and first-party data continued to evolve, the social platforms really began to personalize and perfect feeds. And it started to feel normal to see ads that felt like they were made just for you. This type of personalization contributed to why so much time on mobile peaking was really consolidated on just a few mega platforms. But as you all know, regulations and platform changes rebalanced the power dynamic. Users started curating their app ecosystems more carefully, and big social platforms began to show signs of saturation, especially the legacy ones. Time spent actually declined slightly for the first time, while niche and utility-based apps started to find ways to play a bigger role in our daily lives. Which brings us to today's mobile moment. The data points to a big trend with big implications: fragmentation. While people, of course, still spend time in the big platforms, they're increasingly exploring community-based and specialized apps. Things in fitness, finance, gaming, learning, shopping, and now all accelerating with AI personalization. This shift signifies something important for the people in this room. Users are moving from feed scrolling alone to purposeful, multifaceted mobile behavior. So I want to talk more about this fragmentation. When looking at how people spend their time, only 32% of time now is spent on Meta and Google-owned platforms. So where's that attention shifted to? It's moved to 3 million other places, to an ecosystem of millions of independent apps. Apps like Duolingo, ESPN, MyFitnessPal, BeReal, I don't know if any of the folks are in this room, many more. And in fact, almost half of all mobile time happens here, on the independent app ecosystem. So to paint a picture, we looked at some Moloco data. So looking at people who have made a purchase in a food delivery app in the last 30 days, according to our data, we learned that they spend time across an average of 40 independent apps every month, from places like Pandora to Crossword Jam. Again, people who maybe booked on a travel app in the last 30 days, they follow a similar pattern. They average 35 independent apps per month, from lifestyle and messaging apps like Nextdoor to Tinder to Line, and games like Block Blast and Wordscapes. The breadth of these footprints really reflects the opportunity. This independent app ecosystem is massive. We've run the latest numbers because, honestly, we hadn't seen them recently, and learned that advertisers can reach a huge population across those 3 million apps. 2 billion global daily active users, which for context is the same as TikTok and Instagram combined. So for the people in this room, this number probably isn't surprising. But every marketer that I've spoken with over the last year has been struggling with how to make sense of incrementality in this era of fragmentation. Not to mention bringing their internal teams along when there hasn't been a lot of up-to-date data published on these new dynamics. So we partnered up with Singular because we wanted to try to understand the data behind that critical question. What does incrementality look like in this new landscape? We're sharing this data for the first time today and plan to release a big data drop on our website later. What we learned was fascinating. There is a consistent, strong link between expanding your media mix and boosting returns. Brands across all categories that we looked at that added independent platforms into their media mix saw a 48% higher ROAS across the board. And this surprised even me, but the data got even more compelling for consumer brands. In categories like finance, on-demand services, travel, ROAS jumped by 116%. And then it gets even better for specific industries, like, for say, shopping. Shopping sees a huge ROAS lift, 214%. And the takeaway from the data is that surprised all of us is not that just the lift is there, but how large it is. And we learned that advertisers who embrace the full spectrum of the mobile opportunity are winning really big in this new economy. But how to win? The old tools don't work when you're trying to find performance across so many different apps and genres and contexts. My guess is that this challenge feels familiar to many of the people in this room because it's the same challenge that Google and Meta had to solve as they scaled up. They leveraged AI to match the right advertiser with the right user in the right context. And so as attention shifts away from feeds, marketers can leverage the very same technology, just in new contexts. This is an area that Moloco's been working on for years now. And we wanted to pair the data set on the ecosystem that we just shared with some of the learnings that we've had from watching our AI system at work. The first is the learning that not all opportunities on the independent app ecosystem are the highest quality ones. And so let me show you what I mean with some data. Every single day at Moloco, we have the opportunity to serve an ad 660 billion times. Our system filters out some of those based on brand safety and app genre, and then even more filtering happens based on the value of the potential user. Then additional filters are applied for considerations like making sure the creative format is served in the right context. This means that on a given day, our system only serves impressions to 1% of those opportunities. And this should give you a sense of the magnitude of how AI works at scale, finding value at this level of millions of apps. A second insight that our AI system exposed is how incredibly varied user engagement patterns are over the course of a day. To show you what I mean, as you can see, social media has a relatively flat opportunity curve over the course of a day. But finance app usage peaks in the morning as people are prepping for their day. When we were looking at our data, we also saw sports apps apparently peak at lunch, but also in the evenings when live games are on. Given these dynamics, AI applied across the independent app ecosystem is how you unlock incrementality because you can engage users at all the perfect moments across their day. Finally, one of the things we were reflecting on as we were breaking our data out to be able to share some of these things today is just how striking it is that we wouldn't be able to share any of the insights like these without a fully transparent AI system. And that's because in this mobile moment, the best AI doesn't just deliver results, it has to show you how you got there so that you can then take those learnings and apply them everywhere. So if AI, when at its full capacity, is truly optimizing for user value, there's no reason to keep it locked inside a black box. And so if you're here in this room at MAU, you're probably the person at your company who knows the most about mobile growth. And that puts you in a powerful position to help your organization catch the new mobile moment. To tee you up for those conversations, I didn't want to just leave you with data. I wanted to bring out some thought leaders who've done exactly that back at home. And so with that, I am thrilled to welcome our panelists. We've got Diana from Nestle Purina, Noah from Mistplay, and Jasmine from Snap. Ladies, come on out.